Shalom, shalom, everyone. This has been a few weeks in the waiting, and y'all know how I do. I'm going to wait a couple minutes. I've rescheduled this live stream all of 1,000 times, so uh, I understand if people are a little bit surprised if this actually happened. So while we're waiting, we'll just listen to the music and grab a few more things I want to talk about. But it seems as if she is here. She has made her arrival. Not me, but Her Majesty. And we want to again talk about a few things. And I'm going to show y'all some stuff. And, oh, this top isn't on tight. That's why I could smell it. All right. Shalom, shalom, everyone. Hope y'all had a great couple of weeks. I have been running around like a chicken with my head cut off. But we are back. We are back. And of course, if you don't have your chart, please send me an email or you can go on the website. We have basic charts that I do for people. Then if you need a chart with a consultation, basic charts are 40. Charts in Shalom Shalom. Charts with consultations are 80. That's just where you get your chart and I talk to you about it. Then if you want a full reading, which includes the tarot, the celestial hierarchy that's affiliated with your chart, and also a customized reading of your chart that's on video. That starts on the website. It's 250, but if you email me, it's 150. Um, and Anyway, a bunch of other stuff. We're gonna talk about a few things here. I'm Hold on one second, trying to make sure I have everything so I don't have to. Uh, yes, I did see. That's one reason why it's a little bit crazy because I have been trying to do this live stream for a few weeks now, and it just didn't. It couldn't. It just wasn't happening. I scheduled it, then I fell asleep, then I woke up, then it wasn't happening. So I understand now that it was a little bit more preparation, ground needed to be laid for people to understand that what's going on. But you know, it is what it is. We're here now, so um let's get started. So the first thing I want to talk about is I want to revisit some yes, yes, I saw that video. It's very, very good. And we're just going to expound on that a little bit because I actually, like I said, I've rescheduled this live stream about 4 times because the timing wasn't quite right. We were still waiting for some sort of energetic thing to happen, and it seems like it did occur over the weekend. And now we're ready to move forward with this thing. So, like I was getting ready to say, first thing I want to talk about is okay, for those people who are looking for a more intimate connection with the various spirits and with the mother specifically, this is going to be the stream for you because the queen reigns on her throne. And if you have read the book of Jasher, when the king is in his role, he expects his subjects to do things. And everybody goes about doing their thing, but everybody's doing something. And so, what I'm here to encourage everyone to do is to physically do something. We can, the academic part of understanding how the mother works and who the father is and who the son is and all of that, that stuff is over. We have to move into the literal now. We have to move into action. And so when I first started my channel, I was doing tarot readings every day and every night, and prayers, tarot reading and prayer every day and every night. Then I added in the celestial part of it, the daily planetary positions and moon phases report. And so all of those things are fabulous because they are foundational. But there's a lot of action that needs to be taken. And what I am requesting of the Sisters of the Nation is that we move into action. It is fine to talk about it and pontificate and have the conversations because they do need to be had. But the ones who are following me here on this channel, we have been about action. Like, let's do something. And we see that when we do something, things happen, i.e., the fast. You know, I want to point something out, a few things out for the people who did the fast and for the people who didn't do the fast, so you can see how this kind of thing works. No, first I want to point out something that um that a couple sisters and I did that I'm now starting to see the result of. So there's a spirit intelligence that is over uh gold and silver and things like bringing things to you on the zodiac. And a couple sisters and I did an experiment where we requested for that angel to come in and to bring us gold, silver, whatever, precious metal, stuff like that. We did this experiment all the way back in September. Then today, Big Levi on the morning prayer is talking about how we're going to be able to go and physically get this thing. So all I can say is for that, there is no way that these things are unrelated. So when we do things separately, it influences another person in the nation. So some people who aren't doing anything are holding back the person to whom they are soul tied to or whatever so that we can get things for each other because it's not you going out and getting things for yourself. This is what has become obvious. This is not how the mother works. You don't go out and get it for yourself. What happens is you go out and request it and somebody else gets it. And then if you have a relationship with them, then they give it to you. And if they don't, then you don't get it. But the more relationships you have, the easier it is for you to get the things that you're looking for. So a lot of people are doing experiments and so on and so forth, and they don't feel like they're getting the results. That's because the experiment that you do, the result isn't for you. The result is for another brother or sister. And what has to happen is somebody else has to do an experiment and then that result will come to you. And so, what we need to do is make a conscious effort to try more things. I mean, if your thing is candles, you should be like 8K, burning a candle for the nation, saying a prayer every day because your prayers affect someone else. And if you want the prayers that you're putting out to come back to you have to keep doing it because eventually somebody's going to come back to you, and that's how it works. The exchange is not, it's an equal and opposite exchange, but it's not necessarily from you to the mother and back. It just doesn't work like that. And this is why I am encouraging people to take some action because talking about the mother is great. It's fantastic. We need it. We also need action. And so on this channel, we do action. That's me. All the teaching and stuff, I do that too, especially when it comes to how to better take better action. That's what we do here. We trying to take better action. And so another example of that is, of course, a few of us did the 22 day fast, and now we're getting the report back that a different group of individuals was able to close a particular portal. Again, that's not by accident. It is, of course, we all did the 40-day fast together, of course. Then we had a specialized team. We went in and did a 22-day fast specifically to mourn the loss of the two-thirds. That was what we were asking for. They have got to go. They're causing too much trouble amongst our people. And so that is what. we were requesting. And so that is what we received. Immediately you had the Kanye stuff, the Kyrie stuff. Now we're hearing that certain portals are closed, can't be opened again. It's a lot of good stuff going on, but it's because, you know, people are out here making sacrifices, not even knowing what the sacrifice is for. And so I think I'm encouraging people to continue to pray, continue to fast, and continue to experiment. So that being said, now I'll go back to my original point because I wanted to get that. That's so important. This is if the queen is reigning on the throne, there are things that you're required to do. And I would almost venture to say that the point of studying is over. Now you have to do on the job learning, meaning as you're going out here serving the Most High with all your mind, spirit, and soul, you pretty much have to learn as you go because. And this is for me because I'm new. Like I always say, I haven't been on this side of the truth that long. I'm new. So this is not me saying this because I know more than anybody else. I don't do that kind of stuff. It's just because this is what it is. And this message may be well received or may be poorly received. And at this point, neither one of those things matter to me. Is that I have to deliver the message the way that it's been given to me, and the way that I understand it. So again, it's time for action. You have to learn as you go. You have to pick up things as you operate. So, like, okay, before I can even do this, so like one of the things I wanted to know was how does the mother communicate? Because all the books we have are dedicated to how the father and his legion communicate. We have very little by way of understanding how the mother communicates with us, and it's not the same way the father communicates. And so that is something that I'm putting the question out. I put the question to the mother myself. How do we communicate? How do you send your signs? Because your signs can't be the same as the father's signs. That don't make no sense. So if the father and the archangels and whatnot communicate in numbers and physical signs and stuff like that, it's got to be a different way that the mother communicates. And so um that's something that we have to be seeking some kind of answers for. I'm sure it is in a book somewhere, but let me tell you another thing about these books, especially the ones about the mother, especially the ones written by people about the mother. If you if you read the Testament of Solomon, I listened to the audiobook. It's like an hour. I think I linked it on my community post. So I listened to the Testament of Solomon, and in the Testament of Solomon, it talked about how the angels or the demons would get information from the angels by flying up into the dome, the firmament, listening in on their conversations, bringing the information back down to certain people who were open to demons, and from there passing the message along. Which that's all fine and well. That's the reason why there's a lot of Gentiles with a lot of information. So I'm not even saying to be wary of the Gentiles providing information because that's a whole nother hijack. They get the information, the correct information from the demons. They're getting the right information. They're putting out the right information, but they're not telling you how to use it. That's a totally different set of communication, how to use the information that they're putting out. So you have to think about that when you're looking at, for example, the um the sigils for the key of Solomon, the greater key or the lesser key, right? The problem with trying to execute the sigils the way that is in that book is that the same thing I say about Bardon's book about how to do certain things. The demons don't want you to do it. So they will put the information in the book and make it so difficult for you, so insurmountable for you that you won't try. And this is where we're having problems with the mother because the way that people communicate with the Holy Mother, the Holy Spirit, the Holy Sophia, as opposed to the Father God or the Holy Ghost or Yahweh. They're different ways of communicating. And so they have made the Holy Spirit, the true Holy Spirit, so unapproachable that a lot of people don't really want to try. They just want to talk about the Holy Spirit. And they want to wait for the Holy Spirit to come in and give them some message and deliver something through them so that they can deliver, which is fine, all fine and well. But as a queen who is reigning on her throne, that is not how you deal with a queen. The queen does not come to you. The king doesn't come to you. You go to the queen. The same way you go to the king, to the father, you go to the mother. And there's not enough people going to the mother for her message to get put out. Too many people are waiting for her to come to us. She's already deposited her spirit within us. The queen reigns on her throne. We are the throne. The queen is in us. And so if we are not taking that extra effort to go within to communicate with her, or to go without to communicate her, because as above, so below, and so below as above. It's both. If we're not taking the effort to do that, the communication lines are not open. So again, when I started working with a pendulum, a lot of people didn't like it. And a lot of people that people are following don't like it. However, I have found for myself that it is the most effective way that I have to go to the entity without having to go through the process of crossing to the other side. The process of crossing to the other side is a very strenuous process which requires a lot of preparation. It requires you to be strong mentally, and it also requires you to have done a lot of work. Pendulum work requires the same thing if you want it to work. You cannot pick up a pendulum and think that your pendulum is going to work if you don't work on yourself. I have noticed that males are not really good with pendulum work because they're not doing the work on themselves that is required to use a pendulum. You approach the pendulum with the same respect you approach your fast. And a lot of people, they're not doing that. I also use my pendulum all the time. I have no problems. I get all kinds of answers. I have no problems. But I have noticed that there's a lot of men who are not having the same kind of results. And that is because they're not approaching it with the same respect as they approach their fast. And so this is why the queen reigns on her throne. Not on his throne. She's not on the throne of the male. And so, do I think that men can have the Holy Mother within them? Absolutely. But that is not where her seat of power is. Her seat of power is within us and what we do. And until we take that responsibility and progress forward, we're going to be stuck where we are. We can't expect for things to change if we haven't changed. Shalom, shalom. We can't expect for things to change if we haven't changed. We haven't changed. We haven't done the work. We're not mentally strong enough. I mean, not everybody, and I'm not trying to sound chastising, but I had to have this conversation with myself. And so I know it needs to be had with someone else. If you're not mentally tough by this point, you're going to have a very difficult time because the mental toughness becomes increasingly higher when you have or when you are operating from a higher vibration. And the reason why your mental toughness becomes more difficult is because the higher vibrations require a tougher mental acuity. So that leads me to my first point. We had a conversation a few weeks ago about tobacco, right? I read a thread. You can go back and look at my videos about the great tobacco spirit. So, what I realized is that plant medicines are all medicines of the mother. So any plant that, or animal or whatever that you use, and by animal I mean like toad, and by or whatever I mean like snake venom, whatever. All of the quote unquote female plant medicines are all medicines that help you connect with the mother. Now, I am not telling everybody to go out and do a bunch of crazy stuff, but just keep that in mind that if you feel like your relationship with the mother is stuck, you may need to incorporate some of the female plant medicine. And the simplest female plant medicine to incorporate, well, actually, before I even talk about that, the simplest female plant medicine to incorporate, I have my charcoal here, which is all hot. Let me show y'all. So these are some incenses that I have. Resin incenses. This one is Peaceful Home. It's backwards, but y'all can see it. I'm gonna put a couple throws of this on here. Hopefully I can tone it down a couple notches because I'm really hyped up. I like this one. I like that's this one is Money and Prosperity. Um, I do have these if somebody wants a set. So they're 25 bucks. And then this one I like, Health and Healing. Um, let's see what else do I have in here. I was looking for, okay, this is the one I need right now. I use this one all the time, especially when I'm hyped up. And this one is Happiness and Joy. This is the easiest plant medicine because why? All of these resins come from natural sources. So let me throw a couple of these on here. So here's how I use incense. I don't know how anybody else use incense. Nobody really talks about it, so I will tell you how I use my incense. When I wake up in the morning, I have an incense that I burn. And then before I go to sleep at night, I burn one of these charcoal incenses because 9 times out of 10, I have um, done something where I had to consecrate something, which I'm going to talk about that in a second too. And therefore, I use my the same charcoal that I use to consecrate the thing. Then I bring it downstairs and I'll use it to perfume my room before I go to sleep. So the here's a couple of instances that I have found that I particularly like. The first one is this temple incense. So those resin incenses, those are ones I use almost always at night. This temple incense, and then they have the temple incense cones, and I'll just alternate depending on what medium I'm using to burn. So these are sticks and then these are cones, and this says a very fine fragrance that matches and blends into human sense of scents. You may not even realize an incense is burning when you enter the room. It's like heaven. Keep a package in your car, room, or desk for a natural potpourri. Burn for a heavenly atmosphere around you, perfect for meditation. So, um, this is like I was using this every day, and then I found out about these different ones. So you have this one, which is the Nag Champa, and this one, which is Super Hit or Satya Super Hit. Oh, that's not in English. Here we go. Satya Super Hit. So this one is more floral. So I burn this one in the morning, and this one is more it's just less floral. So they're basically like the same one, and just one is for the morning. Basically, it's because it's more floral, and then one is for the night because I looked them up. This one is really really good. I like both of these, which is why I do one stick in the morning and one stick at night. And these they don't cost that much. This was like $4 or something, and there's like 25. Let me see. Is it 40? It says how many grams it is somewhere. I think it's 40 grams. So I think there's 40 sticks in here. So this is at least a month's worth of incense if you burn one every day. Another one that I like, especially to burn on Sabbath, is this Holy Smoke. by Native Soul. This is a really nice thick incense. All these incense sticks are really strong. Actually, I can't even find any more of these. The place where I got them, they don't sell them. They don't have any more. And this is the last incense. This one, if you can find it, I highly recommend it. And this is called Original Tara Healing Incense. And it says this healing incense, which has been used for centuries old, is a traditional Tibetan medicine for stress, depression, and tension. It's prepared by hand according to ancient Tibetan medical system and it's composed of different pure and natural herbs. It's effective, non-toxic, and non-addictive. So if I'm feeling sick, I have a headache, or anything like that, this one really takes care of it. It really takes care of it. I'm trying to source these, to put on the website, but for now, if you go to a metaphysical store, they'll have maybe not these exact ones, but read the ones you have. So that's one step. So let me talk about the consecration stuff real quick. So I have found that now when I go out, whenever I go somewhere, not whatever, but yeah, basically, whenever I go somewhere, somebody is asking me to consecrate something for them. And it occurred to me that I needed to have a consecration to go bag in my purse because you never know when you're going to be out in this wicked world and you need to consecrate something, especially if you are operating on a higher level. You have a hotel room. So, one thing I definitely suggest is your holy water, put in a little spray bottle like this. I have this one. This is the one that I use on my bed every day and every night. And then I have my Florida water. I have glass jars. I'm out of these, so I have to order some more. But I keep my Florida water in here. And I usually spray my holy water in the morning. That's my Florida water at night. But I couldn't find it. It was in my backpack and I forgot. So whenever I go to like a hotel, somebody's house, or whatever, I will spray this on the bed before I get in it. And that way I know everything is cool. I don't have to worry about like doing the whole consecration thing. Although that's the reason why I realized I need to put together a consecration kit to go. So I'm going to show you guys what's in my kit. Um, So the first thing I have is these incense cones. And as you can see, they're only a buck. They don't break the bank. And the cool thing about these is that if I open the bag, which I will, I haven't even opened this yet because I was just taking my whole incense stuff with me and I just realized how ridiculous that was. But the reason why I like these is because it comes with this little thing to actually put your incense cone on. Especially helpful if you are on the go, you're out somewhere. You don't want to keep leaving burn marks everywhere or using paper or other crazy stuff. So these are just frankincense cones. Again, generally you consecrate stuff with frankincense anyway. This little tube is usually like for cigarettes or something like that. Um, I actually have mine filled. You can't see, but I have mine filled with my holy salt. So if I have to consecrate something, I can just sprinkle the salt on it. Don't worry about it. This is my holy salt. I've got my holy water. This one I have labeled, and I have the hyssop in here, the dried hyssop that I threw in here. So this one I carry with me. So that I can just spray it with the water. Something else I realized I needed to carry with me. This is all this stuff I just got, obviously, because everything still has price tags on it. But this is an incense burner because I do carry incense with me, especially when I'm out of town or whatever. And I just noticed that I needed something to put my incense sticks in. So a little small, you can see how small this is, incense burner. And then the last thing I have is I have two kinds of candles. These candles I do have some more. If anybody wants to get some. These are allegedly birthday candles, but they're pure beeswax. So I have white ones and then I have colored ones. And so I just got a cute little bag to put them in so that I could keep, and it's black so it blends in with my purse so I can keep all my stuff together because you never know when you're going to have to consecrate something. You go somewhere, somebody's like, "Oh, I just got this. Can you consecrate it?" You buy something while you're out and you're like, "Dag, I really want to consecrate this so I can wear this today." So I would highly suggest you get you a little consecration bag that you can carry with you, throw in your purse, and then you don't have to worry about it. So those are two things. The next thing is, again, we talked about tobacco. I'm finally getting to the tobacco. I found that these cigarettes, so this is one way that you can, I told some people earlier, this is like how you consecrate your brain. You don't have to smoke the cigarettes. It's not about the smoking. It's about inhaling it, letting the smoke run through your brain, which is basically you inhale and then you hold it and it runs through and then you put it out of your nose so it goes through that whatever barrier it is. I can't remember exactly how the smoke works, but y'all can look it up. So it's not about putting it into your lungs. It's about putting it into your head. And so it's like consecrating your brain so that, and that's what all of the female plant medicines do. They they add an element to your brain that's not really native to your brain. And so what you want to do is open your, first of all, you want to connect with the spirit of tobacco. That's number one. That's just like connected with any air Kadeshi. So all of these, so a lot of people that have preconceived notions about smoking and all this other stuff, you need to like just think about it in the way that I'm describing it. You're consecrating your brain. You want to open your brain up so that the mother has a place to do her thing, because if you don't have any pathways open for her to come, if you don't have a landing pad for the mother to come and dwell within you, how's she supposed to get in? This is just like with the colors, with the smells, with the everything else. You have to find a way to create a landing pad. And so this is why I'm starting to understand, this is why some of the people who do like the mushrooms and the entheogens, I'm sorry, and like um the iHausa and the Bufo and all these other things, they're more connected with the mother because they're using the female plant medicine. They're giving the mother a place to land. And so the incense is one way. That's a smell. It comes in as a smoke. You inhale it. Other kinds of spirits, which I had to get back to you about spirits in general, but the reason why I started thinking about the spirits really is because on the 22-day fast you have to give up sweet wine. And so why would you give up sweet wine? So why could you still drink um bad wine? Because the mother's not coming in through no cheap wine. She coming in through high end stuff. That's, if she's a queen, is she gonna drink some Absolute, or is she gonna drink some Stoli? I mean, for people who know anything about alcohol, I'm gonna go Stoli all day over, or Belvedere over Absolute all day and all night. So about these cigarettes, these ones, they're the natural American Spirit in the tan box, and as you can see, they have no filter. So and inhaling, or if you don't want to actually smoke it, put it on your charcoal. I do that too. That's why I like these ones that are unfiltered, because if I can't like actually do the whole one, which is pretty tough, actually it's really tough, I will just put the rest of it on my charcoal and let it burn out, or I'll put it with my plants. I'll leave the burnt part on and let it burn out so that they can get the smoke. Also, these are some really nice cigars, and again, just like the cigarettes, they don't have no, or you can't really see it, but they don't have no filter in them. So they're really nice. These are called Groovy Blue. They taste really good. And cigars are, it's the same way. You inhale it, you roll the smoke around your mouth, and then you exhale it out through your nose. That's how you smoke these kind of things. You inhale, you roll the smoke around your mouth so you get the flavor because you have a lot of receptors in your cheeks for stuff like that. Then you blow it out your nose, okay? Also helps to keep you from getting all kinds of sick because of the. Anyway, I won't go into all of that. I just say this is a female plant medicine. That's why if you've ever been to a cigar bar, you see these guys with these big old cigars. They like this big and it's because it's a female plant medicine. That is actually, it looks like a masculine thing, but it's really a feminine thing. And so that's just like another way to think about it. All right. So next thing I want to talk about is technology devices. Okay, so I already have a few technology devices that I'm getting ready to make available, but I want to talk about them briefly. So I have my pendulum. No, I left it charging. I have my pendulums that I make, and I also have um the pendulum that's for your waist. And so or I call it like a sacral pendulum. So there's one that I make for the moon sphere. Right now I have one for the moon sphere. I have one for the what are they called? Your regular guardian angel, and then I have one for your sacral chakra, which you wear around your waist, on waist beads or something like that. And so I did my experiment with my the one that I wear on my waist because I wanted to shalom shalom, I wanted to have a experience to explain to people how it works. So what I was trying to do was I wanted to regulate my cycle because it's kind of like all over the place, and it I was able to track it using the software, but I wanted to be able to track it without the software. So essentially I wanted to go back to how it's supposed to be. So technically, I did a video on this a long time ago. Whatever the moon phase in was in when you were born, that's generally, if you don't do anything else, that is the way your cycle is going to work. When the moon phase comes that you were born on, you're going to have your phase. However, every book will tell you that your moon phase is supposed to be when the moon actually goes into new moon. That's what your moon phase is supposed to be. So I did a test. I want and me, the problem is when you have a female in your household who starts their cycle, then you take on that cycle. So whatever the newest one is, you just start taking on that cycle. Well, that's a whole nother set of problems because I have a lot of females in my house, you know what I mean? So I needed to figure out, I wanted to see if I could resolve that using my technology device. And so the conclusion that I've come to after my experiment that I did on myself first, because that's what we do. Number one, I found that when I use my sacral pendulum, that I'm able to better control my emotions and I'm less likely to have issues. And so when I don't use it, I have a lot more like emotional stuff going on. And when yeah, it's a mess. It's just it's not it just it should be like that, but you're not supposed to your periods to be not be affected by um Queen Mommy, I consecrated yours already. So the ones that I send out, I do consecrate first. So you don't have to reconsecrate them, but you can. Um, depending on how you feel about other people consecrating your stuff. So usually when I get something from somebody that I think is doing the right thing, I'll just use it. But if not, I will just reconsecrate it. So it just depends on how you feel about that. So number one, I noticed my emotions were better under control. I have a lot more control over myself. The thing that just happened, which is why I decided I'm going to start offering these, is that I was able to take my cycle, which was all over the place, and now it's synced up with the moon because we just came off new moon and my cycle was started. It was like 2 days. It was very, very short. It was extremely painless, and basically it's over. And that I don't think has ever been the case for me. I never. So I'm like, okay, so I do had so it took about I've been wearing mine for 3 or 4 months. So it took about 3 or 4 months for me to sort of sync back up. But I definitely say that if it happened at all, because that's just unbelievable to me. Um, that's really unbelievable to me. I've never experienced anything like that with my period being so short, so light. I haven't done any extra exercise or anything like that, and it was super easy, and then it was over. So my sister is pregnant. I'm gonna make one for her specifically for women who are pregnant to get that extra bit of energy into the children. Because here's the thing about this: in the Testament of Job, which I highly recommend, I also posted the link to that in the community post. In the Testament of Job, it talks about is it the Testament of Job or somebody else? Oh no, in the Testament of Job, it talks about how he gave what the angels gave him in order for him not to die while he had that serious pestilence. Um, oh my goodness. All right, good. I have at least a little more than one test subject for that. So, while he had that serious pestilence, he actually, the angels had gave him a rope to wear around his body, and so he gave each of his daughters by Dinah one of these ropes. And so I think there might be three different ropes too. So that's a whole nother thing. I haven't done enough research into that, but I did just want to bring that up that these technology devices, that's why I call them technology devices and not pendulums so much. These technology devices, oh, she's coming up fast. Oh, she's coming up fast. My sister, I think she's due in June. Um, so these technology devices are very serious, number one. Number two, they're mentioned in the Bible in a billion different places, a billion different ways. I did a lesson on the Druids and the Orgone. They're called the Druid eggs, which were I they have to be orgone. I mean, that's what this is. It's something about the compression. I can't remember who said it, but it was someone recently who said it's something about the compression, shalom, shalom, of the Oh, I was talking to a sister. It's something about the compression of the crystals that shalom. It's something about the compression of the crystals that actually gives it more power. Oh no, it was a Gentile I was listening to. So the reason why the orgone is more powerful than just a straight crystal is because of that compression. It actually makes it more powerful, and it's one of those things that well, yeah, hold on. I gotta take it off. I only have one on me. It's the one that I'm wearing. Hold on. Oh, that was the wrong one. Hold on. I have on two waist beads now. Oh no, that's the wrong one. No, wait, no, no, wait. Was it the right one or was it the wrong one? I can't tell. No, it's the wrong one. Hold on. I meant to bring one. I don't have another one actually. I haven't made any more because I have to make them now. The moon is increasing, so I have to make it now. Um, of course. All right, so this is mine, and for those who do have pendulums that are made by me, they're pretty similar, except this one I don't know if you can really see, but it has a xenon bulb in there, and this one actually has calcite in it. It's a color of the sacral chakra, and it has a orange calcite in there, And then I have copper, and it's got my acacia wood bead, and it's also got some that's sparkly. I don't think you can see it, but there's also some Ethiopian opal in here. So and then I have it wrapped in copper. And the only thing about this is I take these off at night. Before I didn't, and I actually broke my waist bead by not taking it off at night. So um it's only certain molds that I have that will fit the actually fit the whole thing in here. And I also have uh oh, I'm gonna regret this. I'm gonna regret this. But I have this one that I made that's just a little small tower that's pretty similar, except I've got obsidian in here, clear. I think I've got rose quartz, soda light, the acacia wood bead, and my xenon bulb. And I have one that's by my head, and then I'm not gonna put it back right now. And then I have another one that's on my dresser that I use to charge my crystals that I keep on my dresser, like my bracelets and stuff, and also my yeah, the xenon bulbs, I just put them, I compress them because when you compress something, it gives off a stronger energy. So that's why it's good to throw it in some resin. And also you don't have to worry about it breaking because the xenon bulbs do have glass, and once they're in the resin, then they won't break. So, yes, I definitely those I'm going to do. I also have one that's underneath my water pitcher that I'm using to charge my water because all the other ones I have points. The other ones are kind of bigger, but I have it underneath my water pitcher so that I can use it to charge my water with a bunch of crystals in it. And so that's what I wanted to say about the technology. Also, there's some information coming in about um uranium, which sister put me on to earlier. And the thing I can say for sure is that we have to really look at getting more of the periodic elements, especially the ones they're trying to make us afraid of, into our actual bodies. Because Brother Remedy, he posted a picture earlier was talking about how melanin creates oxygen, and that's probably why we could breathe underwater, but that's neither here nor there. um, because if your melanin creates oxygen, then you would be able to breathe underwater. So but because our melanin creates oxygen, and uranium also basically creates oxygen, or it activates the melanin, something like that. I have to go back and do the research, but if there's any other science researchers out there, definitely start looking into like uranium and its relationship to melanin specifically, and hopefully I'm gonna do some research on that and bring y'all some information once I have it. Um and as not to make this go on too long, I think there's a couple other things. Um uh Right, like the people in the Black Panther. I'm starting to think there's more reality to it than it is fiction. And I would have never thought about it until she brought us this information about the uranium, which seems to be very important. And as you can see, the instance has done its job because I have calmed down tremendously since the beginning of this live stream. That's why I like you gotta have this instance, man. It does amazing things. So um, I definitely want to encourage people again to continue doing experiments. I want to talk more about specific experiments um, when it comes to the spirit intelligences. But here's the issue: it's not the issue is not that I don't think the information should be online, because I do think the information should be online. The issue is that I don't want to put the information online if people aren't like doing experiments. So, as you can see, like by my consecration bag, my incense, it's all these different things. I'm clearly doing about 10,000 experiments at once, usually. At least 8 different experiments at a time, some long term, some short term. I'm gathering data. So, when I talk to people about certain things, we can compare data for our experiments. And it's not really helpful to post the information. Yeah, the mushroom tea is really really good, especially shaga is really really good, but they have one that has the own blend. They have like 10 different mushrooms including turkey tail, which I think is actually good for menopause, and it also has ashwagandha. uh Oh, the wild lettuce. The wild lettuce actually can be used for pain reliever too. Oh, speaking of that, I finished my chamomile extract for my condenser fluid. And what I'm going to do, anybody who was looking at the initiation to Hermetics by Bardon, he talks about the condenser fluid. So what I'm going to do with my condenser fluid, I ask some questions of the angels, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use I have a little mini gold bar, and like I have silver. So I'm gonna make gold and silver water. When I find the instructions for that, I'll post in the community section. But all you need is the two clamp things and some batteries and your gold and your silver. I'm gonna make gold and silver water, and then I'm going to use he in his recipe. He recommends that you use blood or semen, which I was like, absolutely not. X that out. We're not doing that. I think I'm gonna use saliva because I don't feel as uncomfortable with that. I'll probably um engage in some plant medicine first, some good high quality plant medicine, and use the saliva from that in my condenser fluid because it does need to be activated by our energy. And yeah, mine has been it's been 28 days for me. So I took mine out. I also had arnica flowers that I soaked too because arnica can be used as a pain reliever. And I had some burdock. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do with this burdock yet, but I bought it at the international store. I don't have any burdock extract, so I'm not really sure what to do with the burdock. I have to look that up. But yeah, I'm not gonna do his exact and that's again back to the if you don't have a way to ask questions, you end up following what these people say in the book. And of course the demons are gonna give you the grossest thing to do. Like, of course, that's what the demons do. They give you gross stuff. So if you want to do less gross stuff, you need to figure out a way to communicate with the angels that will be less gross, because the demons will always give you stuff that's like, ethically, I have a problem with that. I have an ethical problem with saliva, but I mean, you have to, like, now, like, I have to spit. So I have less of an ethical issue with that than, like, no, I don't, I have an ethical issue with that. So, I feel like that resolves the ethical issue. Um, For me, it does. So, I'm trying to think if it was anything else, but yeah, the main point of this live stream, I just was looking at my extract. The main point of this live stream is that I really encourage people to do more experiments. If you have nobody to share your results with, you can shoot me an email. I'll put it in my community post about results of experiments. We have a much smaller group over here, so hopefully it will draw less attention. If people do are interested in more experiments such as the one that I did to reconnect with my guardian angel and also my angel over Mercury, because not my guardian angel, my guardian archangel, and also my angel over Mercury, because as a Virgo, I'm a Virgo, which is ruled by Mercury, plus I'm a Cocovite that's ruled by Mercury. So to be out of sync with Mercury is to be out of sync with myself. And that's basically how I was feeling. And I feel much more in sync with myself. So my candles burned all the way down, without incident. And I feel much more in tune with myself now, again, than I did before. And I'm getting a lot more information. I am starting to notice that when I talk about something, I'm getting basically like instant responses to it, and so I know that is an indication of good things. Um, and so I'm really excited about that. I'm hoping that we can use that energy to do something useful for people within the nation and help people out. I hope you guys have been looking at the videos that I've been sharing in regards to understanding who we are within this system, especially in regards to finances, because when the time comes that we can talk more about those types of topics, I want people to have a good understanding of who they are as a private person versus who they are as a public person. And I only want to talk about that for a minute because a sister brought up that I have like 1,000 names. And that has a lot to do with my Enoch energy, who also had 1,000 names. But every time I evolve into a different stage, I have to take on a different name. I'm not the same person I was when, uh, I'm not the same person I was when I first got online. So how could I possibly maintain the same name? And so whenever I take on a new role in the realm of the kingdom, then I take on a new name, and that's basically what Enoch does. And so, because I'm a Kokavite and Kokav is ruled by Enoch, that's just what it is. And for me, and so you should notice as you evolve emotionally that you take on new habits, you take on new things. And I just encourage people to definitely continue to work on these things, and also, like I said, experiment. If you don't want to experiment, definitely get you some plant medicine. Use it as a plant medicine. Think of it as a plant medicine, because I like how when Levi was talking about the whole addiction thing, because it's very true. Somebody could have a box of these, which I know somebody who does. They smoke the whole box in a day. I just I smoke one a day, and I'm not even smoking it because that's not what I'm using this for. I'm using it for a medicine, a plant medicine. And so one a day is more than enough. If I could cut them in half, I would probably do half, and at some point I probably will, just because it would be easier for me to tolerate. But yeah, this you have to uh it's time now to go into more uncharted territory that they told us that was evil and this and that. And maybe some people did develop addictions, and so maybe I wouldn't do cigarettes or cigars if you had an addiction to it. But there are other plant medicines that you can use that are much harder to form an addiction. And if you go into it with the mentality of, this is a plant medicine, this is not for my pleasure, then it makes, like I was talking to the sister earlier about this, because like once you do so many fasts, right, you don't really, like, I don't notice being hungry anymore, or I don't frame it like that. What I frame it like is, I notice that I have not put any food in my body. So like this morning, I was like, it was like 10 o'clock. I had been up since like 6:30 or something like that. And about 10:30, oh, my phone is going to die in a minute anyway. So about 10:30, I noticed that I had not put any food into my system. And so I was like, well, I think it's really time for me to put some food into my system. And it wasn't because I love my hookah. Oh goodness, I have to stay away from that, because I will smoke the hookah all day. So I go real easy on the hookah, because I used to do hookah all the time, like all the time. But um, and the shisha is a little bit of a different. I need to do some more investigating now that I have this information, because the shisha is a little bit of a different monster. Now that I think about it. So anyway, um, Oh, but like I said, you don't have to actually smoke these. You can like take a little piece and burn it. It's about finding a way to communicate with the different spirits. Also, like I said, all these incenses. I think you might have missed the beginning. You can get you some incense. It's a lot of ways to communicate with the spirit. These things, but it's about finding a way, like finding something that you feel comfortable with, and so the if you're able to find something that you feel comfortable with, then you are creating a landing pad for the mother. And that's what this whole video was about today. I just wanted to just remind people and bring it down to the fact of the matter is the mother is here, the queen reigns on her throne. Yes. Um the queen reigns on her throne, and if the queen reigns on her throne, you need to make a space where you can go to her. And I feel like, again, like I said in the beginning, a lot of people want the queen to come to us, which is fine. Queens do go to their subjects. However, I feel like that's disrespectful. The same way I feel like it's disrespectful for the Hebrew Christians to demand that the Father come to them for every single one of their needs, like the Father is the servant and we aren't the servants to the Father. That's the same way I feel about the mother. So you just want to find whatever avenue you can to have a space where the mother can come to you. Again, I use my pendulum. The pendulum is the easiest thing for me to use, and I will I just swear by my pendulum now. I mean, I use it to communicate with every spirit intelligence. Every single one that I want to communicate with, I use my pendulum. And there's still some that I won't communicate with. And again, don't forget that you need to you have to subdue the earth, which includes the negative ones and the positive ones. So don't we already talked about that. I'm not going to go back into it, but don't think that you can get through this stage of evolution without being comfortable with you know what? Finding the ones without the filter is extremely difficult. I actually found these when I was at home in Maryland. I cannot find them. The closest place they have them to Jacksonville in Florida is Gainesville. You can buy them online, but you have to buy a case. So yeah, there are these ones, and the tan ones are the only ones that don't have a filter. They're extremely difficult to find, which is why the cigars are much easier to find. A lot of places have the cigars, and they do cost more than cigarettes, absolutely, but they don't have a filter, so you don't have to necessarily get these ones. It's just these ones actually taste good. I mean, they have a lot of other flavors. These are the ones that I like. I've been smoking these for maybe 10 years. Oh, I was in Fort Washington. I was back at home. So, they had these at the one in Fort Washington. But if you go to in Maryland, they probably have them all over the place. They don't want their people to be sick. So, they'll sell non-filters. But yeah, they're very very difficult to find. I This is the first box I found, but I did get the these are Natural American Spirit. I got the turquoise ones, which are organic, and then you can just like cut the and these are Groovy Blue Tatianas. Can you see it? Tatiana Groovy Blue. I also like the acids, but they don't have acids. They do have acids in many, so I like acid too. Brand. But I don't have any of these because I like these ones better. Um, I don't think I have any acids around here. But I started smoking cigars when I was like 10 years ago, I think. Yeah. Um. Oh yeah, there's cigar. Even places that sell tobacco in Maryland, they will have cigars, and so you could get like the whole tobacco leaf. And just burn a little piece. The whole idea is to just Look for them. We've done a lot of seeking of the father. Now we have to seek the mother, because again, if she's the queen, you have to go to her. You can't expect for her to come to you all the time. Now at this point, at this stage in the game, we have to actually go to her. Oh, and this is the last thing I want to talk about. I posted a video by a guy named Lord Osiris. Really, really weird guy. However, his assessment of how the tarot works is spot on. It solves a lot of the problems that I had with the traditional deck, and I couldn't really put my finger on it. And I'll give you a quick summation of what it is. And this is going to be a huge problem for a lot of people, but I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. Um, according to the way the tarot is set up and the way the constellations are set up. First of all, right now the when you look at the it's backwards. It's upside down. The bottom one should be on the top and the top one should be on the bottom, which makes sense because right now the ones that are on the top are your uh it says it's your what's out there, but it's really not. It's really what is private, and then it's just backwards, okay? It's just backwards and upside down. But as far as the tarot deck is concerned, the fool is first and it's in the middle. So if you think about your zodiac wheel, in that middle part, that's you. You're in the middle. And then you come out, and the way that he has it described is that you know what? You know who else wants a corn cob pipe? Sister Colette, she was talking about she's gonna get a pipe. I have not ever seen anybody smoke a pipe, but I think it looks cool. Um, so that's something y'all are gonna have to educate me on before I go out here and buy a pipe, because uh anyway, that's just a whole nother thing. So it starts with the fool, and then from the fool, the first card, and that's in the middle, and then the first card is the high priestess, and not the magician. So when you flip the order of those cards, and then it's like the fool, and then the high priestess, and then the magician, and then the empress, and then the emperor, which the emperor is the child, not a king, as like not as is a young person, not an adult person. And so he goes through the whole thing and he describes it in a spiral. And not only that, he has it so that the numbers line up, the numbers add up. Everywhere you look, you get the symmetry that you would be expecting when you consider the zodiac. So I highly recommend. I shared the whole playlist. I would skip that long video that's first and go straight to the second video, which is like something part one, then part two, and part three, part four. I didn't watch that long video yet because just looking at that guy is like I had to like massage my brain, because the way he looks is not, it doesn't match with the information coming out of his mouth. It's very, he sounds to me like me how I would explain something, but the way that he looks like a gnome or something, like from Lord of the Rings. What's that? Or one of those actors. I don't know what it is about people with the long square heads. It just, I had to massage my brain with looking at him, because all I think is like, oh, I know Dwight off The Office. That's what he reminds me of. Like he just reminds me of Dwight, and like I just have to remember that he's actually giving useful information and not stupid information like the white. So that's one of the drawbacks of watching way too much TV, is like you see people and you automatically, first of all, I'm like, this guy's a gnome. Then I'm like, no, he's not a gnome. He's a real person. But then I'm like, he's, what is he saying? Like I understand what he's saying, but it's just kind of like weird. So you have to like, again, this is why I mentioned earlier in the live stream that the Gentiles get the information from the demons who fly into the firmament, according to Solomon, and actually like bring the information down. So it's correct, but I also think he has a relationship with the actual mother. So I think he must have gone through like the whole Job process. And one thing I want to say about the testament of Job, please keep in mind that Job was a son of Esau. So number one, the sons of Esau, they know what they have to do to get right with the Most High. That's number one. Yeah, I know. It took after I got through the first one and I realized that he knew what he was talking about, I went ahead, I was able to push through, but it was really really it was I just Yeah, so that video that I posted in the community, those videos, that guy does a really good job of explaining it and tying it together. And so, and the video is 5 years old. This is not even stuff that he also ties it to the tree of life. He ties it to everything. Like, this is a very well thought out thing, which is why I think he must have gone through the process of. So, anyway, Job was a son of Esau. Esau's sons know that the what they have to do to get right with the Most High, because an angel will come and tell them. See, Jacob, they won't come and tell us, but Esau, the angels will, because they know how they are. They will come and tell them, look, if you endure all of this, you will be forgiven. Esau, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah, that whole thing about Job being the son of Esau, I've never heard that. And then I was like, wait a minute, this is not us. This is not our people. We don't have to go through what Job went through. That's for them. And they don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. Or actually they are doing it, but they're doing it with pride. We'll have to talk about that in another video. I just wanted to bring that to your attention, that the Testament of Job, please, if you haven't read that or listened to that, go back and read it again and listen to it again with the information we have now. The Testament of Solomon, if you haven't read that or listened to it, go back and read it or listen to it again with the information we have now. It'll make a huge difference. I listened to the whole book of Jasher. It was it's like a 10-hour audio. I have the book, but I've never been able to get to the book. I listened to the whole book. I'm like, I have a much greater understanding of a lot of things now. So because I'm new, I'm like catching up to information people already have. But I also recommend people go back and take another look at it. Now that we know about the spirit intelligences, I could actually hear the hijacks in the book, because I was like, wait. Well, you mean to tell me the Most High Himself came down and taught Moses how to use the sapphire stick, which we now think is a uranium stick? Don't get me started. You mean to tell me that's not how that works? That's not how that works. There's all these angels that can teach you how to do this stuff on the Earth sphere, plus the Moon sphere, plus the constellations, Mars, Venus, Jupiter, everywhere. Why would the Most High Himself have to come down and teach these people how to do this? Another thing I realized, every time it says in the book of Jasher that the Most High remembered the covenant, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. An angel reminded him of the covenant. And then probably an archangel reminded him of the covenant that he had made, and then he did something. But he didn't really do something. He sent another angel to do something. This is the same thing we have to think about with the mother. The mother's not going to come down and do all this stuff with I mean, look at that. That I posted a copy of that Lord's Prayer from Aramaic to English that was found on a new tablet. That is not a prayer to a man. It says, "Oh cosmic birther." Is a male god a birther? I've never known a male to give birth. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. That's a prayer to the mother. That's a prayer to the mother. And I know it is because this morning I asked again, like I'm going back, but I asked how the mother communicates. And I got an exact answer. It was a direct sign. The prayer came out today, and I asked today how to communicate with the mother. Now we get the mother's prayer. We never had that. And it says, "Oh cosmic birther." There's only one birther. Only one person can give birth. Okay? I don't care what anybody says. No, only one person can give birth. And it ain't no father. Fathers don't give birth, okay? I hate to tell you, if you didn't know, fathers don't give birth. Only mothers give birth. And therefore, we have some more information. So, anyway, that's how stuff works. I asked for how we communicate with the mother, you know, then we get the mother's prayer. So you best believe that's going into my regimen. I probably say that every night before I go to sleep until I can get it memorized. Then I'm going to throw that in when I do my salt rinse and take my shower. I'll be throwing that in there too. You know, it's a lot of stuff that we can do to go to the mother with the respect that she deserves. And really what this live stream about was just encouraging people to please do your due diligence to go to the mother with the respect that she deserves. Please do not do like the Hebrew Christians that want the father to come down off the throne and do everything for them. We have to show enough respect that we have learned our lesson, because we have to show that we learned our lesson. We cannot get to this point in this journey for our people and miss this whole thing by treating the mother the same way that we treated the father. We can't do it. We can't do it. We have to get this right. The mother only gives one. I'm the type of mother. You got one chance. You don't get three. The father, oh, okay, you get 1,000 chances, and we'll just keep making. No, 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 no. I'm not. I've never been that kind of mother. You got one chance. Look, I'm gonna give you one try to get it right. One try. You better get it right on the first time, because you should know better. And that's what the mother expects from us. I know that's what she expects from me, because that's what I expect from my children. I don't give my children 1,000 times to get it wrong. No, if you don't know how to do it, you ask. So that's what I always do. I say, how? I ask the mother, how do we know when you're communicating with us? And then we get the mother's prayer, because I ask. I'm not waiting out here for somebody to tell me anything. I'm asking. That's how I figured out the female plant medicine. I ask. So, because we should know enough by now to go to the mother and ask, we should know better. We got to get this right. And it doesn't have to be everybody who gets it right, but I am encouraging the people on my channel, the people who follow me, approach the mother with respect and get it right the first time. And if you don't know, just ask. Use your pendulum, use your guardian angel, use whatever, but ask. Ask the question. Don't sit and wait for someone to answer it for you when you can ask it yourself. Now, it is good to bounce stuff off of people to see if you've got it right, if your thinking is right about it, so on and so forth. All that stuff highly encouraged. However, don't wait for someone to give you an instruction when you can just go and ask the question yourself. So, like me, I said, well, I feel like I'm a little bit disconnected from my Mercury energy. I went and I got the information and I did something about it. That's how we have to be proactive. When you're dealing with the mother, when you're dealing with y'all's mother, you have to be proactive. At least I had to be proactive with my mama. You know, I'm asking for stuff. I have to remind her, Mom, don't you remember I asked you for this? Don't you remember I asked you that? My girls do it all the time. Don't you remember I asked you for some tea, some hot tea? We're quite British in this household. We drink hot tea all the time. So don't you remember I asked you for some hot tea? Or my oldest daughter, she likes coffee. So don't remember I asked you for caramel frappuccino, whatever. Can you make me one? Okay, fine. I did say I would do that. Let me go ahead and get that done. So we have to approach the mother with respect. We have to approach her with our own due diligence. And when we don't know, we need to ask questions. But the mother will respect us more if we are putting forth an effort. So you want to keep doing experiments, just the same way you work so hard to connect with the father, you need to be working just as hard to connect with the mother. And you also have to do it much faster because she's here. See, the father, he's kind of taking his time rolling around, but Big Mama's already here And so, like, when my grandmother was already in the house, everything better be done before she walked in the door. And so we already out of order because everything isn't done. So you better tread extra lightly because number one, she's here. Number one, she's mad. Number two, she's mad. Number one, she's here. Number two, she's mad. And number three, she's mad at you because by now you should know better. And you don't because whatever the Gentiles, blah, 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 whatever. But she still feel like you should know better. And so we have to tread very lightly, very respectfully, but you better tread fast because she's here and she's mad and it's your fault. Also my fault, not just y'all, everybody. It's all our faults. We have to work a lot harder to get right with the mother than it is with the father. But lucky for us, when you ask your mama a question all nice, like, Mom, can you please tell me how to do this? Most of the time, the mother will be like, Oh, of course I'll tell you. Boom, 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 boom. So we do have that. My phone is going to die any second. We do have that extra added benefit that when you're nice to mama, mama's nice to you. If you haven't listened to Chicago, the musical, you might want to go back and listen to that because I got that line from Chicago, the musical. Wow. When you're good to mama, mama's good to you. Yikes! I got that from Chicago the musical. Mm. Yo, he had it coming. That's why I said she's here and she's mad because yeah, oh, everybody hey, if you ain't got it by now, like it's almost too late, except for we do have a very special relationship with the father, and we can leverage that relationship with the father to get some leniency from the mother because, she will have respect unto us if we have respect unto her. So, again, like I said, the time for reading and pontificating and learning and all of that, continue to do that in the background, but throw you some action in there and definitely go to the mother with respect the same way. um I know we've been asleep for 4,000 years and it's too late. It's not too late. It's not too late. I don't want to say it like that. It's just it's the people who watch my channel. um we need to be a little bit more cognizant of our relationship with her, and we need to work a little bit harder and a little bit faster. So like I said, I'm going to incorporate that Lord's Prayer into my prayer every night, because I already do Psalms 51 in the morning, so I'm going to do that one at night. And I highly encourage you throw that in your, since that's new information we just got today, throw that in your prayer routine, and let's start to show some respect to the mother that she deserves. So um we're gonna try and do this again. Maybe on CoCaf. CoCaf's my day. I'm just gonna try and work around everybody else's live because I don't have as many people on my channel. I don't want to be interfering with anybody else's stuff. But so if somebody else does a live on Wednesday, then we'll go after, or we might do before. Oh, everybody knows the mother is here. It's no hiding it. She's here in the flesh, and so she's in us. She's here in our flesh, which is why we have to be really respectful of her because she chose us as her indwelling. And if we mess this up this time, there's not going to be another chance. And so I am taking it personally because as above, so below. I'm taking this very personally because if she chose me to be her indwelling, then I'm going to be very respectful of that because I have to be respectful of myself. And that's what we did not do the last time. And that's why we ended up where we are, how we are, because we did not do what we were supposed to. And I, for one, intend to not make that mistake again. So, like I said, we might do this again on Wednesday, and about a week or so, before the moon goes to full, we'll start back up with the daily prayers. Probably in the morning, and then in the nights I'll try and throw out a live stream couple nights a week. But we'll go back to our daily prayers. But I really need everyone to have an understanding of that guy's tarot explanation as it relates to the zodiac because um I'm not going to re-explain it. He does a really good job, even though he's a little bit out there. He does a really good job. I'm not going to re-explain his work. We're just going to use it and we're going to move forward. And you're going to be confused if you don't have a general understanding of what he's talking about when it comes to the placement of the cards. And I haven't gotten all the way to the end of his series yet, so I want to have a little bit more time to absorb that. So when we come back, we're hitting them real hard all the way through our winter solstice, um, all the way back. Fernando Prudhomme. I don't know what that guy's name is. Uh, I have no. It was Lord Osiris, Oniris. I can't. It's some. I'll repost it again because I can't remember what his name is. I did post a lot of stuff. I'll repost it again just for emphasis, so that you all will know what I'm talking about. But his name, he's just a weird guy with a square head, man, like super square. Ooh, reminds you of Dwight. Oh goodness, from The Office, super square-headed Dwight, except his head is also long. Um, yeah, I just found, but a sister just sent me the video today, and I was like, "This is it. This is the explanation I've been waiting for. This is why the tarot never made any sense to me because it was all out of order and all kinds of weird stuff." Um, so anyway, we'll do this again. I hope that if you missed the beginning, go back and rewatch it. And I threw a lot of good stuff in there. I was a little angry at first, and then we Lord Osiris, there we go. I threw some incense in, and then we started to calm down, and everything was good. Yeah, Lord Osiris. He's yeah, square-headed little guy. Anyway, so we're going to before my phone cuts off. We'll do this again in a few days, and hopefully, we'll have some really, really good updates to talk about. But to the spirits who are here with us, you're invited to go in peace. To my beloved viewers, you're invited to be at peace, and always remember the Most High is your peace. Shalom, everyone.